The aim of this lesson is to refine the visual output on the TFT display. This will be done by adding units such as C for temperature and percentage for humidity. We will also be improving the overall presentation. You will learn how to enhance the readability and aesthetics of the data display, focusing on formatting techniques that make the data more engaging and clear. A well-presented display makes it easier to interpret the data given, and will also give your project a more professional look. This is particularly important in IoT applications, where clear data visualization can be critical for users experimenting with the project and interacting with the system. When improving the display output, always include units next to your data to make it more easily interpretable. In our case, this will be degrees Celsius for temperature and percentage for humidity. Choosing the right font size and style is essential for readability. We're gonna use larger text for important values and smaller text for labels. This will help emphasize the key data. Properly spacing the data elements on screen ensures that we avoid cluttering. This also makes the display look neat and organized. Using contrasting colors for text and background improves readability and reduces the strain on the eye. Using colors to differentiate between labels and data can significantly enhance the aesthetics of the display. We will start by using different colors for temperature and humidity data. We can also extend this by adding additional visual styles, such as borders, background colors for text, or graphical elements like lines and boxes. We will be building this on the previously written code. Our attention will be focused on the loop function. So, before we print out the data, let's make a box for it to sit in. This can be done by employing the function fillRoundRectangle or tft.fillRoundRectangle. And you can see that we need some parameters. So we will start by inputting the coordinates. The first one is how many pixels from the left. Let's go with 5. Then we have the height from the top to the bottom. This will be 15, let's say. Then we have the width of the box. This will be 130. Then the height of the box, let's say 100. Then we have the radius of the corner, because it's a rounded corner. This one will be 5. This is temperature data. Let's go with a nice cyan. Great. Now that we have created a box, it's time to format the text. Since the text will be displayed over the color, we should change its color to black. This way it will contrast nicely with the background color. We're going to do this by using set text color, and we're going to make it black. Nice. Now that we have our box and we also formatted the text, it's time to change its position, because the faster positions will not work anymore. Let's start with the label. This one will be moved to 10 so that it ensures that it has enough space. Then 25 from the top so that we do not bump into the rectangle. And let's set a font size of 2 just to make it more easily readable. Now for the temperature data, we will also modify this to 10 from the left. Let's say 55 from the top and a size of 4. That's valid. We will also want to be adding the units. This will be done by inputting a C, just a C, because the display cannot show the degree symbol. And let's go 110, 65, and a font size of 2. Again, there is no real way of finding out where it will end up on screen. You can just assume by counting pixels, since it has a 240 pixel length, then 60 will be somewhere in the first quarter, but we're here to experiment and to play around with the values. Now that we have created the first rectangle, it's time to go over the second one. Let's create another one. We will also have 5 pixels from the left. Then since this one has to be lower, we'll go with 130. The dimensions are going to stay the same. It's going to be 130 in length, 100 in height. And it's going to have a radius of 5. And since this one is for humidity, let's make it yellow. Great. Now we will be setting the color again, just to make sure, to TFT black. Great. Now we also need to change the coordinates of the humidity data. Let's say also 10 so that they are aligned. This cannot be 100. This will be 135 maybe. And the text can also be 2. In terms of the humidity data, of course, let's align it to the left. Let's add some spacing, let's say 165 pixels. The size 4 is perfect. And let's add the unit. This will be a simple percentage sign. Now, this one will be at 110. 175, I guess, would give it enough clearance, and a font size of 2. The reason why I'm doing this separately is because I cannot have multiple font sizes in the same argument. I have to create different arguments for different text sizes. I would have added it at the end of the humidity like this, but this would have meant that the sign would also be a size 4, and that would clip outside of the screen. Talking about clipping outside of the screen, let's modify the temperature to be just temp, because I have noticed that it clips outside, and also add a colon to the humidity. Besides all of this, we will also be changing the delay from 1 second to 5 seconds. This will make the data update less frequently to ensure that the board is not overstressed. Okay, let's upload this code and see what happens. Now our board has finished updating. Let's see the output on the screen. Now, as you can see, we have a beautifully formatted display. So let's go over the modifications that we have created. We added background colors behind the temperature and humidity data using the TFT fill round rectangle. The rounded corners provide a more modern look to the display. Then the text color is set to black, which contrasts well with the colored backgrounds of cyan and yellow, improving visibility. The labels and data values are positioned further apart vertically, making the display less cluttered and more intuitive to read. This creates a more polished and visually appealing display, with the key data clearly separated into their respective sections. In this lesson, we have focused on enhancing the display output by adding units, adjusting the font size, improving layouts, and introducing colors and styles. These improvements help create a more professional-looking display. This provides clarity to users interacting with the system. By the end of this lesson, you should have a fully enhanced data display on the TFT screen. You have successfully made the project more functional and more aesthetically pleasing. In the upcoming lessons, we will be including additional features, like a web server functionality and a Wi-Fi network connection. This will help further expand the capabilities of our IoT project. Feel free to experiment with additional design elements and explore different ways to further expand your display.